So I just bought a kayak. I got it early in the spring. Well, I ordered it early in the spring. It took a while to actually get to me. And so today I'm taking my first trip on it. I'm going to be doing the Grand River. It's actually a 20-kilometer trip, but I have a couple of places where I can kind of do an off ramp if I find 20 kilometers a bit too long, given I'm fairly inexperienced as a kayaker, and this one is the first time I'm using it. So I thought I'll show you my kayak before I get started. Today's supposed to be a pretty good weather day, maximum 20-kilometer-per-hour winds. The sun's going to be opening up maybe around 11 o'clock. It's about 9:30 right now. And yeah, so I'll show you my kayak and then I'll get underway. So here's my kayak. It's just over 10 feet long, and it weighs about 40 pounds. So again, it's a sit-on-top kayak, which is apparently more stable and better for beginners. So that's why I went with that. But things that I'm taking with me, I've got a couple of portages on this trip. So I've got my buggy here for to make it a lot easier. One of my portages is over 1 kilometer long, so I wanted to have that buggy. I got some lashes set up to my paddle, my waterproof bag. I've got a safety kit. You can barely see that. It's under the paddle there. It didn't come with handles, so I installed a couple of handles on it on either side at the center of gravity. And yeah, we're going to give this a try, see how it goes. So here's the route I'm going to be taking on my kayaking trip. It's about 20 kilometers in total, and it starts at the Freeport Trails in Kitchener, southeast Kitchener, and then, like I said, go 20 kilometers over to the Cambridge to Paris Rail Trail. So again, 20-kilometer entire trip. I mentioned I have a couple of portages. One is at the Mannheim Weir, a short one of about 150 meters, and then I've got a much longer portage at the Park Hill Dam. That one's over 1 kilometer long. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm new to kayaking. So one thing I am doing is I've got a couple of places along this route where I can say, you know what, if I've had enough, I can stop the trip there. So at the Moyers Blair Landing, about halfway through the trip, 10 kilometers, that's a place I can get out and basically call it the end of my trip. Or alternatively, I can go to River Bluffs Boat Launch, which would be 17 kilometers along the route. Another opportunity for me to say I've had enough and call it. So there I go. It's I'm just on the water now. I'm going down river the whole way. Why not? Make my life a little easier. And I'm expecting the trip to be maybe 4 hours. So over here is a sign for my first portage that's coming up, which is the Mannheim Weir. Some ducks sharing the water with me. Trying to be very careful here. There's the sign again giving the warning that the weir is coming up 100 meters ahead, and I don't want to miss the portage spot, but I still think it's a little bit further up. So this is the Mannheim Weir. I managed to find the portage spot, and I guarantee you something I would not want to go over in my kayak. So I'm glad I was able to find that, and I feel relieved that I did. So again, by that weir, I've seen some really great birds, but I don't know, there's some kind of cranes, but then every time I go to take my camera out, they're gone and too far away to really see it. So unfortunately, I'm seeing some great birds. I wish I could show them to everybody, but oh man, there's one of those birds again. So the water level is getting pretty low, and there's another YouTube out there. His name is CJ Hoyle, and he did this section of the Grand, and he did a video about it. So I watched him and got all his tips and tricks and, you know, cautions, that kind of thing. And one of the things he mentioned was there are points in the river where you're going to have to get out and pull your kayak because the water's just that low. I thought I had come to one, but I think we've had a lot of rain the last few days, and so far so good, but we'll see if I have to get out and pull my kayak at any point. We're going to see how long this, I'm just drifting down the river quietly, and we're going to see how long this crane guy
sticks around for. You can barely see his head sticking up over the top of that bush. There he goes. I'd show you my kayak from a bit of a distance on my selfie stick. It's a bit dangerous, man, if my water falls in the river. So let's hope it doesn't go there. You can see behind me, it's still quite overcast, but like I said, in about maybe 40 minutes to an hour, it's going to be, the sun's going to be opening up a bit. And I'm maybe 300, 400 meters from a nice pedestrian bridge that I'll show you when I get there. So here's that pedestrian bridge I was talking about, just going under it now. There's some young kids up here. Hi guys. Now we're gonna see if this guy will stick around as I float by. Sorry for the shaky camera. At the same time trying to, there he goes. Very cool. Yeah, unfortunately I have that safety bag in the way, but here I am coming up on the 401 bridge. I got rid of that dry bag, so you can watch me as I head under the 401 bridge. It's a bit more choppy here. I think it's very shallow. Hopefully, again, I don't have to walk my kayak over the shallow parts. Getting quite noisy as well because of the trucks overhead. Yeah, okay. Trying to avoid the rocks here. And there are a few of them. So this is now the Fountain Street Bridge. And the water's getting shallow. You can see some rocks in there. There we go, yeah, the Fountain Street Bridge. But you can see I'm coming up on some rocks here. You can even through the water. I'm kind of rested on a bank right now. So I'm gonna have to put this phone down and work on that. But then shortly after the Fountain Street Bridge, like I said, it's that first stop. I think I'll stop and have lunch there. So I made it to my first stop. So I'm halfway through my 20-kilometer trip. Like I said, this is an opportunity if I wanted to do kind of an off-ramp and say, you know, I've had enough. But I'm feeling all right. My legs are a bit numb. That chair is okay. It's not the most comfortable, but you know, it's for the price of the kayak, you know, and the one that I went for, it was pretty good for a beginner, and the seat's okay. So now I'm just going to sit down, have some lunch, and stretch my legs a bit. That'll help, I'm sure, and I think I'm going to carry on.
I'm not sure what happened at this part on my trip, but I came by this waterfall and I wanted to show it to you, but so I thought I'd just give the description as I go by.
I'm now about 17 kilometers into my trip, and I've got a long portage I have to do now. It's about just over 1 kilometer that I'm going to portage. Okay, so here we go. And I just got to pull along, so I got about a 1 kilometer hike ahead of me. There's actually a portage point that's a little closer, but it gets a little bit close to the dam that's coming up, the dam we're portaging around. There's a portage that's closer, but again, for an inexperienced kayaker like myself, I didn't want to chance it, and I'd rather just walk the 1 kilometers. Plus, it's always good to stretch my legs out too. So this bridge you can see off in the distance, that's a CP rail bridge where the trains go over. And I remember as a kid, as a teenager, not very smart teenager at that, but we used to walk across that one. You had access to it, which was shocking. Now they've kind of closed that off, which is a smart thing. But yeah, you could just walk along that, and I don't know what had happened if you ever got caught in the middle while a train was coming by. But then I guess teenagers kind of do stupid things, don't we? So unfortunately you can't see it because some of the brush here, but we're getting to the more architecturally beautiful places in Cambridge and downtown Galt really. But behind these bush here is a very old building, Galt Collegiate Institute. It's a high school, or GCI as people in Cambridge know it. So there's a better look at that bridge. Like I say, not our smartest move walking across that thing. That has to be 50 feet high above the river. Yeah, so there's a better look at it. Oh, and also GCI is a little bit clearer from here as well. So you can see again, Galt Collegiate Institute, quite a nice building. So you can just see through there, that's the dam you're really portaging around, is really quite fast moving. So now I'm gonna have to finish off this portage here. It just goes down this path and back into the river. But it's quite a bit rough here. And then, like I said, we're going to be getting into some of the more architecturally beautiful areas in Galt. But I did want to show some of the architecturally beautiful buildings. You see the backside of them here. There's a bridge coming up. That's the Main Street Bridge, I believe. They did a lot of filming of movies here in downtown Cambridge, again, because the buildings are architecturally beautiful and older. This high face of the wall here, it was built to stop flooding because they had a bad flood in Galt in the 70s. So they built this wall here, and then there was a show, a TV series on HBO, I believe, called The Handmaid's Tale, and they filmed along these walls, as well as several other places in downtown Galt. Oh, there's a fisherman over there with his dog. That one with the clock tower there, I believe that used to be City Hall, but I'm not exactly sure. And there's that church, lovely church. All right, I'm just gonna let this coast for a bit, I think. This is a post office, I believe. Again, an old building with but a more modern spin put on it maybe at a later date. Post office? Yeah, post office or library. You can see some, looks like maybe some students in there in the windows. But again, another beautiful building. So not sure what this old building is, but that is a stunning building made out of stone. And it looks like there's some sort of entrance there right at the water level. I wonder if that's some sort of boathouse. See if I can get a bit of a better view here. I don't know if no, maybe not a boathouse, but some sort of drainage system from the, maybe from the downtown area, try to drain into the river. That could be what that is. Maybe it's some sort of pump house. And then over here, we got a pedestrian bridge coming up. I'll try to get a better look at that one as well. I guess it used to be a rail bridge, according to that other YouTuber who I was watching, CJ Hoyle. I was mentioning we've had a lot of rain the last while, and you can see there's the runoff coming in from the city into the river, and it's a lot of water flow there. And then again, here's a closer look at that pedestrian bridge I was talking about. And the last bridge is the Cedar Street Bridge. This is the last one. I've got about 500 meters left in my trip. So really successful day, I'm pretty pleased. Well, I made it. I can't believe the sun only comes out just as I get to my destination, but I made the full 20-kilometer trip and I'm very pleased with how I go. So I'm kind of just waiting for my ride now to pick me up. And it was a great first experience. You know, like I said, being an inexperienced kayaker, it was great to give this a go, this 20-kilometer trip, and I was really happy that I made it. So thanks everyone for watching.